Hello and welcome back to Happy Place Creations. Today I thought we'd make these fun little bookends called the Thinkers. This is one, and this is another one. And here we go on another one. It's a set of three. I got these on Amazon, and they looked fun. So I thought I'd order them, and we could do those together. So, and yes, I'm using the round tray again. And soon I will have a video for you explaining this tray. But that just keeps you guys curious. And I like to keep surprises.
All right, I'm back.
So let me mix up some resin and I will be right back.
I thought I would add some sprinkles.
And we'd make some sprinkle thinkers. So let's add some sprinkles and get busy. Let me move my mouse out of the way. I'm so sorry, I'm out of the camera shot. I hope this container is going to be big enough. Add a few, and then mix them in. We want to get them all covered. Your resin's going to thicken as you put the sprinkles in. And it's not because the resin is curing, it's because the sprinkles are taking up space. And your sprinkles will sink, and whatever hasn't sunk will put clear resin to the top. So you want to make sure you put in enough sprinkles. You don't want to have just resin. You want to have a lot of sprinkles. And I don't think my cup's going to be big enough. So I may have to go to a bigger cup. But we will see. I'm sorry if I keep putting that in your way. It looks pretty thick to me, but I still see a lot of resin. I give it a moment and let it settle. I still see a lot of resin sitting on the top, which is what would happen in your mold, is those will settle and the resin would sit at the top. And that's not what we want. But I'm going to start putting it in because I've obviously got too small of a cup. And I've got myself a spoon, but I think that spoon's a little small, so I'm going to upgrade to a teaspoon. And you want to dip down in deep. And you want to fill what you're trying to fill. As best that you can. what I'm going to do now that I have that much in there, I made a little mess, which is normal for me. I'm going to do this on all three of them. I'm going to get them started. I'm going to make little messes, that's just me. Which can just be cleaned up later with a baby wipe. Got some in it. Let's bring the third one over. Start it down. I don't want to put too much in because besides making a mess, and what I don't use, I can just find something else to put it in. Alright, now, I'll use this. Now see, all the sprinkles have settled to the bottom. That one I've overfilled a little bit, but I am just going to add sprinkles and mix them in. Just get them all mixed in the resin and make sure they're going to stick. And while I'm doing this, the resin in my cup is settling, I should say. The sprinkles are settling. So that means I'll have resin on the top that I can grab from if I need just plain resin. But meanwhile, I want to make sure I get the air bubbles out and get this all mixed in. Looks like we need some right there on the edge. And as it settles, I'll just add more. And now we'll go to the next one. Having fun can get dirty. Yes, it can, but it's fun. Just mix the sprinkles in while you're pushing air bubbles out. The candy will settle and the resin will come to the top. And that'll let you know how much room you have. Or if you need more resin, or if you need more sprinkles in an area. want to let that one settle while we move on to the next one. This one's kind of full of resin already, but I can see there needs some in the head. Need some down here. Oh, we need some right in that center. And that looks like it needs some resin. Make sure you just brush off the parts that shouldn't be covered. And what little bit of film that I'm leaving on there with the resin, we can just pop right off. This has settled. This has settled. And now that area looks full. The limbs area right there. Now, I said this was going to be fun. I didn't say it wasn't going to be messy. So just to give you a heads up, should you try this, it's going to be messy. But it's fun. And I think this one is done. She's full. This one, however, needs some more. I mean, there's nothing wrong with having a clear background if that's what you want. But I want to have mine solid. Right there in that corner. So how is everybody today? It's a beautiful morning here in Maine. For an August morning. And I think this one's good. I will let it settle and we will go from there. This one is getting to have a little bit too much resin because I need to put in more. I will take some out. Just that easy. Just take a spoon, scoop it out. This resin is self-leveling. If anybody is interested in these thinkers, these sprinkle thinkers, please write in the comments and we can discuss. You can pay the postage. I will sell you these at cost. In other words, what it cost me to make them. You can also find them in my eBay store, as I'm going to start listing the stuff that I make. Even with its imperfections, I will tell you what they are as I'm making them. But I will be selling them at cost. That's just so I don't have a lot of stuff sitting around my studio, or I call it my shop. And it also don't end up in the landfill. I want to have somebody to enjoy them. Let's see if I can move these around a little bit. This one is kind of full. And there we have it. Now let's figure out something to do with this. Give me a moment and I will be right back. Alrighty, I found this little dish, jewelry dish. And I thought we'd make that with the extras. I'm going to spray a little bit with alcohol because it's got a lot of turns and crevices and I'm going to squidgy widgy it, as Steve McDonald would say. He's a gentleman from the UK that I like to watch. Just going to throw a bunch on there. And then help it down in. think I need to get a smaller stick. Just want to push it down in there and try to release all the air bubbles that may be forming. And then we want to put some more. And do the same thing. Push it on down in and try to get rid of the bubbles. Still looks like I'm going to have a lot left. We may be making something else today. Just want to get it all mixed in and try to keep it as smooth and as level as possible. It will level over time. I'm draining off over here. I got a little bit too much in there. But I'm going to leave it. Because as resin cures, it shrinks. Just want to make some room. Hope I got a mess under there, don't I? Doing that on there. Now we can do the cover. This one's going to be a little bit more difficult. I'm just rubbing the alcohol into the underneath. We want to make sure we have no bubbles under there, so we want to be able to go around the sides and push the sprinkles into the edges, or you're going to end up with all clear edges. Meanwhile, you're getting all the bubbles out. While still filling it up and using up that resin that you have in there. Meanwhile, we are checking for bubbles underneath this edge. This big edge. This edge is what's the issue. The bubbles will get caught under there, and sometimes you can't even see them, but they will appear. But you do want to make sure you get your candy underneath your edges. Just got a bubble right there. Get that bubble out and shove candy in there. And look at it underneath. Normally you can't do that when you have really runny resin, but because we put so much sprinkles in there, it's not running, so we're good there. Now let's see what else can we put the sprinkles in. I will be right back. I'm looking for something else for the sprinkles. I decided we're going to make this little tea light holder. Want to make sure your mold's clean, blow her out, and you want to spray some alcohol. Get down in that edge. Get them all in there. I will finish this off with whatever my next project is. I will just put a base color on this just to finish it off. But now, we got to make sure we get rid of bubbles in the bottom. So we just want to go around it. Make sure we release any air bubbles that might be in the bottom. I am done with all this stuff. Put them over in the cleanup. Wipe off my edges here. Then put it on the tray. Everything looks good. Now we're going to spray it all with a little bit of alcohol to release bubbles. Any bubbles that might come up. And I will be back when it's cured. Well, everything is cured. And it's time for demold. Let's do the little box first. All done and ready to go. I can find an edge first because I domed it, which meant I lifted a little bit over the top. I just gotta pop some stuff off the sides here. And try to find the edge. And there we are. Come on. I guess I chose the wrong one to do first, huh? There we go. Whoops, sorry, I'm out of camera shot. I just needed to bring it closer to me. Bring it all out. Twist. And it'll pop right out. And there's our little box. Now see, I domed it, so now I have this little lip on the bottom. And before that fully cures, I need to get that lip off. And what I use just some cuticle clippers. Let's see, where do I want to start? Right there. And because this is still somewhat soft, I can just trim and take it right off. Grab it and just twist it right off. Like so. Where I'm going around corners, just want to be snug. Like so. And I also have where did I put it? I have a deburring tool, which would also cut this right off. Like so. But I prefer the cuticles in the beginning, and then I can use the deburr after, should I need to. Doesn't take very long. The trick with this is to not overflow your mold, which I haven't turned back right. You want to do that right off so your mold doesn't get twisted up and not form correctly on the next ones. See, I'm almost all the way around. These happen. And then you can use your deburring tool just to straighten up your edges. Smooth it up. Or you could just use your little you want to be careful how you hold your little, this is a nail file, because you don't want to sand this or this. You just want to touch the edge. And there I am. Now I have all smooth edges. That's it. Now I will clean up my little mess here, and we will move on to the next one. How about the cover? Pop right out of there. Nice clean mold. I did want to let you guys know that fluorescent lighting will turn your mold yellow. And for example, I have one right here. I left this mold out sitting on my desk. And once you've put resin into it, it will turn your mold yellow. So you don't want to leave this out, because I have fluorescent lighting in my shop, and this is what happened to some of my molds. I have yet to see if that will cause my items to turn yellow when I use resin in them, but we're going to do a video on that later on, so I won't bore you right now. So please, whatever you do, clean your molds nice and good, and then put them in a plastic bag. I usually store mine in just regular little sandwich bags. Once you clean them, you want to spray them down with a mold release or some type of silicone spray. I don't happen to have mine on hand right now. And then store them that way, out of the sight of sunlight or fluorescent lighting. Alright, let's get back to the cover. I got a little bit of a thing right there. Just sand that down a little bit. It looks good, no bubbles. Oh, we got one little bubble right there. And there we have it, our little box. Our little sprinkle box. Maybe we should put a bird on top. Or maybe a purple bird on top that we made in a previous videos. Just for a handle. But there's our little box. Alrighty, now we will get to our thinkers. Here's our first one. And there's our first one. Sorry, I'm out of the light. The camera view. And here's our second one. And here comes our third one. Got a little bit of run over on the edge on this one. We'll have to do some repairs. But here's our third one. And like I said, I had a little bit of an overflow on this one. And again. This time I'm going to need my bigger ones. And these actually are toenail clippers. Whoops, that went flying. Then I need to just sand it a little bit. And there we are. There's our third one. Goodness gracious. So we have 1, 2, and 3. There they are. Aren't those cute? Put this right out of the way. And then our little trinket box. Let's do our little, I didn't bother to finish filling the bottom. I'm going to leave it at what it's at. Just want to roll it out. And then twist. And then we have a little candle holder. And you always want to turn your mold back out. So there, we have a little candle holder, which is good. Then we have our 3 little thinkers and our little jewelry box. And I want to thank you all for joining me today. I've had fun today. And I hope everybody is happy and healthy. And I hope your crafts turn out amazing. Please check out my eBay store. It's linked in the description. You all have a blessed day, and I will see you in the next video.